Hey there guys, TC Made with TC Gaming. Wanted to bring you another quick video in our series that we're working on, our micro little mini series of revisiting the action RPG update for 5.4.3. Again, the links are out there on my drive, and the links are the links the links are in the description of the video, and the folder and the files that you need are out on my drive. I just found out also that there is a GitHub version of this that already has your enhanced input action put on there. So real quick, let me just show you if I can find that here. It was under GitHub, and it should be in here for, let's see if it's called Action RPG 5.3, I think was the name of it. And then there's I don't know if this is the right person or not, but it's upgraded to 5.4 when you actually get in here. And I'm pretty sure that this one has the enhanced input system right here, utilizing enhanced input system. So if you want to get this one instead of the one that I put out on my drive, it's all the same stuff. I may actually download this one and check it out as well with the enhanced input. But we're going to still go through the stuff, and it should be the same. So just let you know it's out there. I'll put a link to this also in my video description in case somebody wants to update to that version of it. So when we go back in here with our Synthi characters, we had gone into, last time we were here with our player character, we switched this over to our skeleton knight and made our modified animation blueprint here for the skeleton, this Synthi character skeleton. And we had some montages that we had to swap out so that they would work for the character. And what we notice here now is if we look in here, these all work pretty good, right? But when the character actually goes over here and gets a potion and tries to consume the potion with the R key, see how it dips down? So we want to go in here and find a fix for that. And again, all these things are pretty much under gameplay abilities. So if we go under abilities and type in GA underscore, you'll see in here there's a Death's Door potion. And then there's also one in here for the health potion and also for mana. So under Death's Door, we go up to the AM item for the potion. And we go down here and we find the one for our skeleton. Again, this is going to have the dungeon RT anims suffix. If you look there at the path that's shown, and we can also see that it's on the skeleton character for dungeon. So we'll fix this one. We'll go over here and we'll look for the health potion. We'll change this one out, AM item potion for dungeon RT anims. We will go to the next one here, that was potion health. This is going to be potion mana. And we'll switch this one out here as well. And what we're going to do is, we'll keep, if we find stuff, we'll fix it. But that will fix that for you. So if I go over here again now and grab a potion, and I hit the R key to consume it, now he tilts his head back and drinks the potion. All right. Now here, see how he's taking damage and he's tilting forward there? So there must be an animation montage that's playing for the damage. For that, let's go to our retargeted anims. Where are they at? Retargeted anims for that character is under Polygon Dungeon, RT anims. And is there something in here for damage? I don't see any kind of damage thing. So there's probably a gameplay ability. Let's see if there's one for damage. So there's an attack damage curve table, a GE damage base, and a GE damage immune. I don't know if there's I'm going to find out where that is. So let's look at the player character first. Always a good place to start. And then the player character, you just look at the functions and see if there's anything in here as far as, what would make that work that way. So in here, there's one for, let's see, is there input action change weapon, update health bar, event on damaged, play animation montage, AM react to hit. So let's browse out into the thing. We hit the magnifying glass. We'll pull this over. And you see what it did. It took us to the one for Barbarous. So we want to go in here and we're going to switch this down. And again, you should have one for the skeleton character for the knight, because we did also retarget that one. We put that one in there, compile that, and I think that that's probably the only other thing that was looking weird in there. To play again, and we'll go in. We'll just get damage. I don't need the potion. We already verified that that was working. I think I ran around them twice. There we go. I'll just take damage. Looks like an auto reaction to the damage, so that's good. And also, if you hit the backspace key, he'll just auto play. So he'll damage the characters or die or whatever. But if you do that to auto play, you can just kind of check some stuff out. Now, see, the other thing I want to talk about real quick, too, is if you go up here to show FPS, right now we're getting about 120 FPS, and even when the game's running, I'm getting, first I'm going to skip this, I'm still getting about 120. But some people might get some latency or lag with this, spinning this camera like this. So if you're getting some issues with your FPS up here, one of the things you want to check is in what's called engine scalability settings. And there's this little gear over here, and if you click this, actually it might be up here. Yeah, if you click this one here, the top one under settings, engine scalability settings. So I'll show you, if I put this on cinematic, you'll see my FPSs go down a little bit when I'm in play. Actually, mine's pretty decent. There's really not that much in here. But they're clocking in at 119. If I went over here and put my engine scalability settings on low and let that compile again, you can see I'm pegged at 120 pretty much the whole time, right? Getting maximum. Now, what that does is it cuts down on some of the, the looks of the game as far as shadows and all that kind of stuff. So what I've noticed is if you're at like epic or high and you just start taking off stuff like shadows and sometimes shading will be the biggest hits for you on performance as far as your scalability. So even if I go to high and then drop out a little bit of shading, or even take it down even to medium, sometimes is enough to give you the boost that you want. And I can do the same thing over here with shadows, take these down to medium. You'll see the ones that have the biggest impact. I can show you on a different game. This one's actually pretty well optimized in the most case, but if you went to low and it jumped up to 117 and you went, okay, let me just keep clicking high, one of these eventually is going to change your FPS and have it drop pretty significantly. On mine, it may not be that big of a deal because I have a pretty beefy processor and a pretty beefy graphics card and stuff. So I'm going to leave mine on high except for the shadows. I'll just drop those down to medium. I think that's where that was. And I think that's probably it for this episode. We changed out some of the montages to make sure that our character wasn't doing anything crazy and weird. And we did a little bit of optimization for making sure that our setup looks pretty good when we go to play into some more stuff here. What we're going to do, just kind of give you an overview of where I'm heading with this whole series real quick, if you want to subscribe to this so that you can follow along. What my plan is to go in here and I'm going to follow and go through some of the tutorials for you guys where you can add an additional potion, add an additional weapon item, stuff like that. We'll add additional levels. Like I did in the last version of this that I did, I put a thing in here where once you cleared all the waves, you would go to the next level and start another batch of waves within that level. And I was thinking maybe what we'll do is we'll build something like the old Gauntlet style game that had a spawner. And as you're running through the world, there's a spawner that's kicking out random AI enemies, and you fight through them. But if you destroy the spawner, you'll shut those guys off. And when you make it to the end of the level area or whatever, there's going to be a massive spawn with a bigger boss and a rave or something like that. So we can just have random activity getting from one main battle area to another. And when we get to the battle area, we'll have a big spawn, and we beat that spawn, we'll go into the next level. So in order to do some of that, we're going to also talk about optimizing some things with level streaming, and asynchronous loading is one of the things that was mentioned in the conversion process for this. Because there's things in the game that are not optimal as far as loading certain stuff. So if you go into into the front end of this here where I don't know if it's where blueprints were at. And you take a look at things like the player controller. This is where a lot of your stuff's at. There's inputs in here, sequence, cuts, initializations, character movement, and all that kind of stuff. And there's another set of blueprints that's in here under your BP game mode. And BP game mode also has your level sequence actors, your remaining playtime counter, and your game initializer. Whenever the game's over, restarting the level, all that stuff's managed in here. So what we're going to do again, like I said, we'll go through and we'll match some of that stuff up. And on the guide that I left the link for, if you're in my channel on YouTube, in the description for the videos, there's a link in there that takes you to the original post about how to rebuild the project. And in there they talked about optimizing everything by switching out. There's a plugin called the Async Loader or whatever. It won an Epic Mega Grant and it's free. So we'll go through and we'll fix all that too, because when the beginning of this is going through, it actually blacks out the screen and goes to a cutscene and loads and all that kind of stuff. And some of that, when you try and compile and build this for release, it actually can cause some issues. And if you're doing, I didn't know this myself until just recently, but apparently when you're doing level loading, when you go and say open map or open level, you're actually creating a persistent instance of that level, which means that all of the characters and the actors and everything that are in that level are all loaded, and it'll actually reset your character from level to level. If you do asynchronous loading, what you do is you load that other level, you keep your characters instantiated and in play, and after the other level's loaded, then you kill the level that's underneath of you, and it persists everything on your character a little bit better. You don't have to worry about save game objects and loading and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get into some of that stuff as well, but like I said, we're just going to kind of like turn this into a mini gauntlet type series, and I might even grab some of the Dungeon Architect files like I did last time and go through and do some randomized dungeons, and we'll just kind of have fun with this project. And as you guys have questions, just leave them in there and we'll try and put them into the video to answer whatever those questions are. The series might take a little while, but we'll finally eventually get through most of the stuff that we were trying to do in the original one before we had that long break gone into some other stuff. So thanks again. My name's TC May with TC Gaming. You guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you in a future video. See ya.